Hi, this is Nancy Pooh Gathers, and I created this video for my grandbaby Kennedy. I call her Kenn Kenn. She wanted to learn how to make a crab boil, so I threw a few things together, and this is not the traditional way that I usually cook a crab boil, but this is the way I've been cooking it lately. So I have a little bit of everything. I have some sausage, some shrimp, some stuffed crabs. There were some lobster tails in there. I just threw everything in there, and I'll get to the crab legs a little bit later. So let's get started. So I'm slicing up some the sausage that I have because I will put this in a pan with the diced onions. Jumping right into the lobster tail, I took a pair of scissors and split the lobster tail shell on the front and the back side. Now what you want to do is pull the meat, work it slowly, pull the meat out, set it on top of the shell, but be very careful that you don't detach the meat from the shell or from the tail of that shell. Here come the scallops. I would recommend lying down a few paper towels on your workstation and lying the scallops on top of that and taking a few more paper towels and just dabbing off any extra moisture. You want to get your scallops really seasoned, and you don't need all that extra liquid on top of these scallops. I feel that this method works best for me, but of course, as always, you can do whatever it is that works best for you. I am about to stir these onions and the sausage. Look how I'm holding that spoon. Help me, Lord. I fixed it. Just stir until you feel like you don't have to stir anymore, because you'll go back to it. All right, so this pan will be used, I had that backwards. This pan will be used, that's organic chicken broth. You can use any type of chicken broth. I just happened to see that one was the last one, so I bought it. So this pan will be used. I seasoned the pan, you know, put my seasoning down in here because I had items that I didn't want to steam, like stuffed clams and then stuffed crab. So I will sit those items down in this pan and put this in the oven at 400 in just a minute. Okay, so, oh God, bless it. Okay, so I turned the camera. I don't know which way that was. Anyway, it's 400 degrees because I am sitting the pans inside the oven with the stuffed clams and stuffed crab. So I just wanted you to see that the oven was on 400. I'm not sure what I'm doing right now, but this is what it looks like. I put it in for a few minutes, took everything out, and just kind of went over them with the butter, if you will, basted them. That's the proper word. So you don't have to take this step. I just like to do that so all of the butter sauce that's down in the pan can sop up the goodness inside the shells. So this pan would be, here I am with the minced garlic again. What can I say? I just love garlic. But anyway, this pan has the scallops that we prepared earlier that we wiped down and seasoned really well. So the scallops went in this pan along with small shrimp. So what I'm about to do now is add the mussels to this pan. So I like to cook all of these items together because it just enhances the flavor for me. You can do whatever it is that you want. I bought these mussels frozen and I just let this simmer, and I'll come back to it in just a little bit. So I put the lobster tails in the oven for about 10 minutes. And what I like to do is take them out of the oven and then, oh my goodness, look at that, baste them with some butter sauce because I feel like it gives a little oomph in the flavor for me. So again, the reason I don't do this right away is because you have your seasoning on top of the lobster tails. So if you do it right away, it will remove your seasoning. So I suggest let them cook for about 10 minutes, take them out of the oven, and then put them right back in. All right, we're ready to cook our crab legs. This time I did get king crab and snow crab, and I just seasoned the pan really well. I didn't have my tall pot that I usually use for steaming, so I used a deep pan that works equally as well because we can cover it up and allow it to steam just the same. So I'm using all the same seasonings as before, and I will simply lie down my clusters inside the pan. What I tried to do is get the knuckle part down in all the goodness, which was butter, and a little more chicken broth, and then the seasonings. I let that come to a boil, then I'll lay the clusters down and let them steam for a minute. Okay, my fault. I'm putting whole milk in a whole different pan. I'm about to cook corn on the cob, and I thought that you could see the pan, but clearly you cannot. It's on the other side of this big pan with the crab legs in it, but I am pouring milk inside of a pan where I already had butter, and I just seasoned it with pepper and some seasoned salt. I do not use table salt at all ever when I'm cooking anymore, so I just substituted with like Creole seasoning is what I used in this, with some black pepper, and I simply just laid my corn on the cob down inside the pan. I also turned the corn on the cob just once. I added sugar later on, but I usually add that as soon as everything comes to a boil, and it comes out so creamy and so delicious when you add the milk to it. So I would suggest you try it. Okay, so I switched sides so you can see the mixture for the corn on the cob. Again, this is untraditional. I do not do a lot of things the traditional way. Normally you would sit these down in a large pot, a saucepan if you will, and let them boil that way. I prefer to do it this way. I used to do it the other way, but I found out that the corn, it just takes in a lot more of the flavor this way. So I started liking this method. You can do it any way you want. Again, this is milk, sugar, butter, black pepper, and seasoned salt.